Guys, so today I wanted to talk about something different other than keto. Like I said before, this page will definitely mainly be keto related stuff, but there's other things that I would like to talk about on this page. So I hope that you guys find this video interesting. Don't forget to like, comment, and subscribe. Okay, so I wanted to talk a little bit about my journey to becoming a nurse. Okay, so I graduated high school 2006, and I graduated June 2006, and by October 2006, I found out that I was pregnant with my daughter. Okay, so here I am. I'm 17 years old. I'm pregnant. Don't really know what to do. Don't know if like this is even something that I could even be doing. But anyway, I obviously kept my daughter, and she was born July 2007. Okay, so I'm 18 with a newborn. Don't know the first thing about being a mom. Everything is hard to me. I'm living in the Bronx with my daughter's father, and you know, I'm I want to see how I want to word this. Okay, so I'm not gonna bash him. I mean, if you know me personally, you know, but I'm not gonna bash him on this page. But we just didn't work out. We ended up splitting from each other, and I moved back to Queens, and I was just basically on my own with my daughter. Ever since then, I have been on my own when it came to her. I left and I went to a shelter in Queens. I really didn't, like, for 2 months, no one knew where I was at. No one knew that me and him had broken up and that I was back in Queens. I just needed time to, like, get my thoughts together and just figure out what my next moves were going to be. So at this particular shelter back then, it was 2010. So, was it 2010? I'm wilding. Kara was born in 2007, so it had to be. No, I was close. It was 2009. So I'm came to the shelter, and the requirements to get out of the shelter was like you had to be working. You had to be working a minimum of 20 hours per week, making minimum wage. So I did the first thing that I could do, which was go to McDonald's. And which I had previously worked at when I was in high school, and get a job because I just knew that I did not want to be in the shelter. Now, I don't know how many of y'all have experienced it, but these shelters in New York City, baby, no joke. No joke. Like, them places be nasty. They have mice. They have all types of things. Maybe in a video later on down the line, I could like really go into my experience in this particular shelter, but that's not the point of this video. So that was the fastest thing for me to do, that I knew I could get a job there and get the hell out of there. So that's what I did. I had my first apartment. Before I left, they gave me a rental subsidy. Now this rental subsidy paid most of my rent. I think I had a portion of like $200 to pay per month. And I'm like, all right, cool, $200. So it was just like $200 I had to pay. And I'm like, all right, $200, that's not a big deal. Let me just, whatever. I took the first apartment that I could. Now, this first apartment was in Southside Jamaica, Queens. Now, if you know anything, I'm not trying to talk bad about nobody, but if you know anything about Queens, you know Southside Jamaica, Queens is not the place you want to live. It's definitely not the place you want to raise your children. But nonetheless, I wanted to get out of the shelter, so I did. And that was the first apartment that I saw. It just so happened that the landlord really liked me. It was an Indian guy. He really, really liked me, and he just gave me the apartment on the spot. Like, he was just like, okay, we're not going to interview no one else. We're just going to give it to you right now. So do you, come the next day, fill out your paperwork, and, have your share of the rent, and have your share of the rent, and the apartment is yours. So, boom, that's what I did. The very next day, I had my money and I went and signed my lease and did what I had to do, and I was able to move into the apartment. Now, mind you, I'm still working at McDonald's now. My daughter's like 3 years old. I'm still working at McDonald's, legit, making no money, like maybe 140, 150 a week, because I'm just doing the bare minimum because I know that this is what I need for my program. So I knew I had really wanted to go back to school. So I'm like, all right, I'm gonna go back to school. Now, at the time, we had a Spanish female general manager at McDonald's. So I went to her and was like, she shall remain nameless, but I went to her and was like, I want to go back to school, so I may need to change my schedule around a little bit. So she was like, oh, well, like, you have a daughter, like, how are you gonna work, go to school, and take care of your daughter? Like, you might as well just, basically, she said, I might as well just focus on working and taking care of my daughter. School wouldn't work out for me because I just had too much. So I listened to what she was saying, but then I was just like, fuck that, fuck you. I'm going back to school. I got to do what I got to do. So I went to the school. My original plan was to sign up for their LPN program. However, I did not get the score that I needed to get into the LPN program. So the rep at the school was like, okay, well, you can just do the MA program for a couple of months, and some of the classes that you'll be taking will transfer over into the LPN program, and then you can take the exam again. I kind of don't know what happened or why I didn't take the exam again, but I ended up staying in the MA program. But then, like, around like the 9-month mark, because it was an associate's degree program. So around the 9th month mark, I'm like, girl, what is you doing in this school? Like, you do not even want, like, you don't want no associate's degree and nobody's medical assistant. Not trying to, like, talk down on those that do have that, but I just knew me. I did not want a degree in that because I felt like I was paying way too much money. I was taking out way too much aid to be doing just that, and I would have to pay, and I had loans as well, so I'm like, I would have to pay back all of this stuff, and I'm only going to be making like $19-20 an hour. Hell no. It just, like, financially, like, it just didn't make sense for me. So I'm like, all right. I ended up going to my school, St. Paul's on Queens Boulevard. I have to have him here because he's just wilding, so he's here. But anyway, I ended up going to St. Paul's, and for some reason, I didn't get in. No, I didn't get in. Well, you know what? I didn't get in because I didn't pass the math. Both times, you get two shots at the exam. I didn't pass the math. That damn math, I don't know what it was, but I just couldn't get it together in my head, and I didn't pass the math exam. All right, buddy. Okay, buddy. I didn't pass the math exam. All right, fine. So I didn't get in. Now, I waited like 4 or 5 years in between going to take this exam again. So I was like doing bullshit, like working dumb jobs, just trying to make ends meet. So now it's 2016. I'm like, all right, girl, you got to do what you got to do because you getting up there. You ain't making no money. You have a whole kid. You got to do something. So I'm like, all right, let me just try back St. Paul's again. Something kept telling me, try back St. Paul's, try back St. Paul's. So I ended up going to St. Paul's again, the same campus on Queens Boulevard. And I'm like, I don't even really want to go to this school, but I'm going to just try it out. It's the quickest way. I could be done in 18 months. It had a lot of pros. So I'm like, all right, said a little prayer like before I took this exam. And I was like, all right, buddy. And I was like, God, if this be in your will, I will pass this exam. I will, do what I got to do and get in and finish. So I ended up passing the exam. Mind you, I got like a 96 on this math. I don't know how because I've never been good in math, but whatever. I passed the exam and I was able to get in. So, however, in the program, I'm not going to talk too much about the program itself, but in the program, it was very hard. It was very difficult. There was a lot of things that, I thought was unfair, but nonetheless, I was able to finish. I finished late, but I was able to finish. I got pushed back by 4 months because I did fail a class my first semester in the school. I failed by like 0 point something. 1 second, guys. I'll be back because this baby wildin'. Okay, I'm back. So yes, I did end up being pushed back by 4 months because I did not pass my first nursing course. Okay, I was a little down about it, but I'm like, I'm still in the game. I could still make it out. So a couple of things had happened while in the program, and I didn't think I was gonna make it out, but by the grace of God, I made it out. So that's like August 2018. December 2018, I sat for the NCLEX exam. The NCLEX exam is the exam that gives you your license, and this is what enables you to be able to work. So I took the NCLEX exam, 82 questions. I just knew I failed. I failed that exam. So I waited and I waited. I let the new year come in and I waited. I just didn't want to take this exam again. The thing with me is that I have really bad test anxiety. Like I get really nervous when it comes to taking exams. Like I can know everything there is to know for the exam. And as soon as I get that paper or in front of the computer or whatever the case may be, I just blank the hell out. I don't know. And it may be a disorder. I don't know. But that's just me. So I ended up taking the exam back again in May 2019. I just took my time. I said a prayer once again before this exam. I'm like, God, I know it's not in your will for me to be living like this. I know that I'm meant to be a nurse. You got me through this rough program. So please help me just pass this exam so I may be able to move forward. So I took the exam. I took my time. I read carefully. I'm like, no matter how nervous you are, you got to put that anxiety to the side because you have to pass this exam. It's just a must. You have to pass. Okay, I think it was like 100 and something questions the second time around. I end up passing. Okay, so I passed the exam, and since I passed the exam, it's been lit. It's been lit ever since then. I have not gone without a job. I've worked 2 jobs since becoming a nurse, and 2 jobs at one time, and just recently I've had 3 jobs at one time. So nursing life has been pretty good to me. I've been able to do a lot. I've been able to make a lot of money. I've been able to save a lot of money. I haven't, this is the most money I've ever made in life. So it's been good to me. So I share that story to let someone know, or to let you guys know that whatever it is you want to do, if it's really on your heart to do it, you have to just do it. Push through, pray, and then get the job done. Don't let nobody else pass their insecurities or fears on you. What may not have worked for them may very well work for you. So just do whatever it is that you want to do, whatever it is that you feel like you will be successful in. And, just know that life is going to throw you some curveballs and things is not going to always be perfect. And you may have to try something a couple of times before you get it right. But that's okay. That just makes your story greater. So I hope that you guys can, push through with your dreams. And I hope that whatever it is your heart desires, that you get it. So I'll talk to you guys next time.